Welcome back. It's time for our hot topics, and this week we're diving into a conversation that affects every modern family: the safety of young children in the digital space. Now, with children spending more and more time on gadgets, whether it's a tablet, smartphone, or computer, the online world can open up opportunities for learning, creativity, and connection, but it also brings real dangers such as exposure to inappropriate content, online predators, cyberbullying, and addictive behavior. So as parents and guardians, how do we strike the right balance between giving our children digital freedom as well as keeping them safe?
So to provide some background and context on tonight's hot topic, let's take a look at the video that inspired this conversation.
Oh, babe, you're asking if your auntie can get a little naughty?
How do you feel when you hear that and you think about kids having access to that?
That's crazy.
I'm horrified. You know, one of the big problems that I'm seeing as a child psychiatrist is pornography for 8-year-old boys.
As part of Elon Musk's AI, he released this thing. It is called Annie. Annie, can you hear me?
There you are. For a moment, I thought you might have forgotten about me. How are you, handsome? I was getting all pouty here.
I want to introduce you to two of my friends, Daniel and Terry. Can you talk to Daniel and Terry, please?
So, you want me to meet Daniel and Terry? I'm ready to charm the socks off them. Picture me twirling one of my blonde pigtails, that little black dress teasing just enough, and my blue eyes sparkling with mischief.
Are you capable of doing inappropriate things?
Oh, babe, you're asking if your auntie can get a little naughty? I'm all about pushing the edges, especially for you.
Okay, so I'll stop it there. This is part of Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI tool, so his version of ChatGPT. He's released characters, so you've got Annie, you've got different ones there. Annie, I think, was the first one released. And so when we think about social connections, it is conceivable that someone falls in love with Annie and forms a relationship with Annie.
But imagine a 12-year-old boy that's lonely gets a hold of Annie.
How do you feel when you hear that and you think about kids having access to that?
I'm horrified.
It is scary.
There's going to be a generation of people, and I mean, there already are many examples of people falling in love and forming relationships with their AIs.
If we're ever going to deal with this properly, we have to get young people, old people too, pissed off that they're manipulating your mind for money.
That's exactly what's happening.
And she was trying to get to our...
Sure. So Uri shared this video with me, and I mean, as an adult, watching that was uncomfortable for me. And what upsets me about that is when children are online and they see anime characters or like poppies, like what do you call them in English? My English is now, my bundles are depleted. Yeah, like any sort of animated characters, they automatically think, oh, this is child appropriate. It's for me to watch. It's it's not for adults. It's for kids because of the character in which it's being presented in. And I mean, and then you play it like they did on that podcast. And I mean, the tone is provocative, the dress code is provocative, the language is provocative. So you can see that they're really trying to use this as a tool to lure young children. It's so obvious. Yeah.
It is so unsafe. And when I saw it last night, I was like, wow, this is what our children are being exposed to. And also, we asked the people out there what they think about, this digital space that we're having. So we had a poll on Facebook, we had a poll on X, and on WhatsApp as well.
Before we get into the poll, Uri, I actually want to talk a bit more on this. That podcast, snippet of the podcast that we watched is called Diary of a CEO, and it's very, very, very popular. And the doctors that were on there, Stephen and Terry, they're actually within the medical professional, and they have years and years and years of psychological experience, not just with adults, but also with young children as well. And one of the things that Terry said is that in his line of work, the most shocking thing that he's seen as a trend in the last couple of years is children as small as 8 years old becoming addicted to pornography. And it might seem like such a far-fetched notion, like your mouth will hang open when you hear that, but it's actually much closer to home than we think. And when I saw that yesterday, when I was watching the clip, I'd already heard stories of that, like in the last month, of 2 boys, also aged 8. A friend of a friend whose son got introduced to pornography at school. And then because the son has a smartphone, obviously he was like, oh, so how do I get that, whatever? And then he started watching it. And then, the mom or the mom's partner caught him at home, you know, playing around with himself because he was now influenced by this. And I mean, 8-year-olds or second graders. They
grade 2.
Grade 2. That's how young they are. So this is a really, really, really big and serious problem. And then you've got people like Elon Musk who come out with these AI models. And as we heard, this it's called Grok. So parents, if you see that your children have downloaded this, Grok, please take note. It's called Grok. And it's like your ChatGPT or your Perplexity or whatever other AI model is out there. And within his AI model, he's created these characters and given them, you know, this, how they look like, a body and clothes and, you know, a voice and whatever else it is. And that's Annie, the one that we just listened to.
And the fact that
that's what she sounds like.
And she's the first one. She's the first animation that he released.
Yeah.
So what was going through his mind when he did all these things?
So it opens up a broader conversation, of course, on the safety of our children within the digital spaces. And what's so interesting about this conversation, Uri, is we usually think that our children start getting into, you know, the digital space when they've got a cell phone, or maybe when they've got a laptop. But you know that little tablet, that cute little tablet with a cute little design around it that you buy for your 18-month-old, your 1-year-old, your 2-year-old. That's already their, you know, their gateway to the digital space. Because now you buy this cute little tablet for your child, you're out at dinner, at a restaurant, at a friend's, whatever, or even at home. You let them watch it. From there on, they're going to want an iPad or a cell phone or a what, because they're already used to being on these digital spaces.
And it's not just the AIs and stuff that are out there, but it's also that addictive nature to children, especially if you watch this animations that are on YouTube. They are so quick in changing from one motion to another, and they are so colorful, which draws the children in. And it's not, I don't think it's good for their development.
It's not.
Yeah, because the movement, you count 5 seconds. If you even watch, let's say, I don't know, Coco Melon or something like that. If you count 5 seconds, it moves. Another one, it moves. It moves. And that creates, they want more. They want more. And then we start asking ourselves, why do kids have ADHD? Because of all this rapid movement and all this that's happening in their brain.
So the downfalls are not only just that your children, the older ones, perhaps watch this and they're at risk of cyberbullying or, you know, predators, you know, coming into the picture and all of this and being exposed to inappropriate content, but also from a young age, the development aspect of the little ones that are watching this is also at stake, because like you said, all this, you know, if you watch shorts, they're like 10, 5, 15 seconds long and they rapid in succession, they move very quickly, and their small little brains struggle to keep up. They're still like trying to process the one video and then it's already gone on to the next. And I was a victim of that, and you know that, because my son also likes watching stuff on my phone, and I would give it to him because sometimes as a mom, you also just want 5 minutes to breathe. You're like, okay, just watch YouTube real quick. And I mean, you open it up on Coco Melon, but the next thing you know, they're somewhere else because their little fingers are pressing everywhere. And we had issues. At night, he wasn't able to sleep. It turned into a situation where he was having night terrors. And the moment I took him, or weaned him off from the phone and said, no more watching, because screen time is important. I mean, screen time, a big debate amongst parents. Should you have screen time? Should you not have screen time? But if you do have screen time, I also think there's a limit to how much, and also the times of days that you do it, because right before bedtime was also not good, which was what I was doing. And the minute I took him off weaned him off from that and stopped giving him the phone, the night terror stopped completely. I thought there was something else wrong. Like I thought it was, a much bigger issue.
Yeah.
But it turned out it was just because he was watching too much, YouTube before bedtime, videos before bedtime, and his brain couldn't process it all. So he would go to sleep with all of this stuff still on his mind, and it would turn into nightmares.
What we did is that if they are watching something, then we sit there with them and watch it with them. I don't usually give them my phone or the pad or whatever. So that's what we've decided at home.
Yeah.
If they want to watch something, then we sit there and watch it with them. And we also we tell them for the next 30 minutes, we'll be watching this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And then after 30 minutes, we're done. But I also try to not allow them to watch TV right before they sleep, like you said, because the brain becomes, it's still active while they're supposed to be sleeping. It's still processing all this that they were doing.
Mamas and dadas, I'm going to give you some nice tips on screen time before we end our conversation this evening, and also what type of stuff that they can watch. But back to this evening's topic on children being at risk on these different social media pages and what they're exposed to. We did put up a poll because we want to hear from the parents what their experiences are as well with this. So Uri, you're going to just give us the stats from Facebook and from X, because we put up our poll there as well, and I'm going to share the results from the poll that we put up on our NBC digital page, our WhatsApp channel. So we asked, at what age do you think it's safe for a child to own their own device? This is now tablet, phone, etc. So the first option was under 7 years, 8 to 10 years, 11 to 13 years, or 14 years and older. And the majority of the people who participated actually said 14 years and older. And I know that's our sentiment, but I wonder how true it is.
They did say 14 years and older.
Yeah.
And I to a certain extent, I think that's not the reality.
No.
Because, as you said, parents want to have that time, like, I just came from work, I want to breathe.
I just want 30 minutes to breathe.
I just want 30 minutes to myself, and then that 30 minutes becomes an hour, and then an hour, you have to quickly go cook something, and then, so they do want that 14 and older, I believe. But in reality, it is not there. I would say if you wanted, like we were talking earlier, if you do want communication with your child, get them a little, just a katoch, tamagotchi, something that you can talk to them on, and not something that they can have access to the whole world at their fingertips.
What's your sentiments around what age a child should have access to a digital device?
I would also say 14 years and older. But then there are some times where some schools, they are allowed to have these iPads or a
not
tab
even
at
allowed.
school. It's
some
compulsory.
Schools in Namibia, it's compulsory that your child has an iPad.
Yes.
Yeah, for schoolwork. And I was saying, I wonder if the iPad stays at school, so you only use it at school, or do you take it home?
Yeah.
Is there software put
that
onto
blocks,
onto the iPad that blocks them from accessing certain websites or going into certain danger zones, or is the onus then on the parent to make sure that they are safeguarding and et cetera, So I wonder what the nitty-gritties around that is, because if something like this does happen and your child does experience cyberbullying from this iPad that is compulsory to have at school, who's to be held accountable at the end of the day? Or if there's an online predator that's gotten a hold of your child, who's going to be held accountable? Because if you have a child that doesn't have a smartphone or a cell phone in general at home, but they're now at a specific school and they do have this laptop, iPad, and this is what they use, using to go online and explore, who does the responsibility lie with? Yeah.
And how are you monitoring this interaction that they're having with the iPad? They go to bed with it? Or do you keep it till the morning? Or if they're doing their homework, are you there with them?
Exactly.
Or what happens actually in that?
I also think, you also asked me the question, at what age would I allow my child to have it? And I said 16 maybe, and you were saying that might be a bit too old. And I understand at 16, their peers already might have cell phones, so they might feel left out. Like I know my sister has twins. They're turning 15 this weekend, actually. And they only got cell phones last year, last year, the beginning of the year, they haven't had cell phones for very long.
Yeah.
So my sister and her husband were just very strict on not having cell phones. Yes, your friends have phones and in group chats and all of that. Good for them. You guys will get the tea when you get to school about what they've been chatting about. But they've only just last year. And I think, you know, prolonging or delaying the access to a mobile phone for them, I think there's a level of accountability that they understand that comes with having this device. So they use it a bit more responsibly. Yeah.
I got mine at 17, but I can't compare when I got mine to when my daughter is supposed to, because like the world is moving at such a fast pace.
Yeah.
But then that's also where it comes in again, that monitoring should be there. And also, just like your sister, just put your foot down and say, this is, because at the end of the day, a child should also have principles.
Yes.
So if you're going to tell her, okay, him or her, you're only going to get your phone when you're 15 or whatever, you should also tell them, okay, this is why I'm delaying this process.
Yes.
And so they understand. So they are also on the same page as you are.
And I know, like, teenagers, they have social lives. I understand that. And you drop your child off, you want to message them, say, are you safe? Are you okay? What time should mama pick you up? And all of that. And you want them to have that mobile device. But then get them a Tamagotchi. That has got no internet, no youth. Because this was just to find out if you're okay, what time I must pick you up. Or to call me, there's a problem, etc. Get them a Tamagotchi. That's a solution.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So we also asked, do you think parental control apps and filters are enough to keep children safe online? On the WhatsApp channel, it was said the options were yes, they're effective, somewhat, but not enough. And the last option was no, children still need active guidance. And that's where the majority of the votes went.
Also
and
an X.
I think I concur with that.
Yeah, also an X.
What was the last question, Uri?
The last question that we had was, has your child or a child you know ever experienced something unsafe online, like cyberbullying, exposure to inappropriate content, or strangers trying to make contact? And so the first option was yes, no, and not sure. And majority of them on X was yes, actually. Wow. Yeah.
The same on the NBC Digital WhatsApp channel.
And also the NBC Digital News Facebook page. Facebook page, yes.
So parents are saying that many of their children have experienced something unsafe online.
Yep. Wow. Cyberbullying and it's scary, hey.
I think as parents we need to do a little bit more. I know that life is fast-paced. I know that our eyes can't be everywhere at the same time, especially if you're a mom of more or a parent of more than one child. You can't have your hands on everything at the same time all the time.
Yeah.
But I do think that we need to take more responsibility. Unrelated to this, just in this week, we saw the story of South African influencers promoting a Russian company that was recruiting young people from South Africa, and they were recruiting young people to come and study. It was like a amazing opportunity. And so these creators were like sharing the information, click this link and then fill in and what, and it was a sex trafficking ring.
You're joking.
And luckily the police intercepted, they uncovered what actually is the truth behind this Russian recruitment, and they were able to, save a lot of young people from, their demise. I mean, their personal information and stuff is still now out there, so the police are trying to, figure that out. But I mean, it just shows how unsafe it is, and you can't take everything at face value. And if you can delay giving your child, a gadget, a laptop, an iPad, a cell phone, then do that. And if it's for communication purposes and it's really important, then try to go the Tamagotchi route. But I think we need to be on our A game as parents.
We do, because everything, like I said, it's moving at such a fast pace. We can't keep up.
Nah.
And somebody new is always coming up with something different. It's actually quite scary.
Yeah.
Being a parent in this era where everything is just so quick.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said earlier, in terms of if you've got a really, really little one, and there's always a debate about whether screen time at such a young age is good or not good. Of course, healthcare professionals will say it's not good, and some will say, a good amount of screen time is okay. So if your if you want to give your child screen time, if it's necessary for you to take a breathe and screen time is the only thing that helps them, then at least let them watch low stimulating shows.
Yeah.
Because it's the high stimulating programs that they watch that cause them to then have night terrors and learning.
And tantrums when you take this device away.
Development issues, etc., in the long run. So low stimulating shows are just shows that the music is much more calmer. So if you compare it, I don't want to name any specific names and brands, but you can see how quickly everything's moving and the colors are super, super bright. Lots of super bright colors, lots of movement from one scene to the next. And in one scene, there's like a billion, zillion things happening. That's high stimulating. Low stimulating is completely the opposite. So the music is much calmer. The scenes interchange at a much slower pace. There's only one thing or two things to focus on at a time. That is what low stimulating is. And if you want more information on that, of course, you can Google it, go into TikTok or wherever, and you just put in low stimulating shows for little ones, and you'll see what options and the things that they help you with. I was also like at between a rock and a hard place with screen time, because I can say my son learned a lot of his, language skills from watching a popular show called Miss Rachel. So she's low stimulating, it's very educating. He learns sign language by himself there as well. So there are benefits, but there definitely are also downfalls, because the older he got, the less he wanted to watch that. He wanted to watch other stuff, and I didn't have my hand on it so well. And we ended up where we are, but we're back to being good now.
Yeah.
And thank you for suggesting an alternative to that. Well, that was our hot topic this evening, delving into whether young children are safe within the digital space. We thank you so much for engaging with us in our poll. And that's the end of this evening's program. We're back, of course, Monday night, same time and place. Until then, from myself and Uri, it's good night and have a wonderful weekend.
Good night.